In Dreamwork's Shrek, released in 2001, fascist tyrant lord Farquaad banishes the fairytale creatures throughout the land in an attempt to create the perfect kingdom. Within the opening credits, a group, or a mob, of white human males exit their homes seemingly of their own accord, drawing plans in the sand to try and catch themselves an ogre, our hero, Shrek. Brandishing torches, pitchforks, and misinformation, the mob approaches the swamp cautiously, looking quite terrified.
I think it's in there.
All right, let's get it.
Oh, hold on. Do you know what that thing could do to you?
Yeah.
It'll grind your bones for its bread.
Yes. Well, actually, that would be a giant.
Notice, if you will, the propaganda bookending the beginning and end of this scene. This is the motive for the mob, rewards offered for trading in fairytale creatures. Soon after, we catch a glimpse of the actual processing of the wanted creatures. Soldiers and generals exchange coin for fairytale creatures with the human citizens of Duloc.
Next. Get up.
The fairytale creatures are depicted in chains and cages, being whipped and shipped. But we don't exactly know where. It is here that Donkey gets chased by ironclad guards into Shrek's looming shadow.
This way! Hurry! You there, ogre!
Aye.
By the order of Lord Farquaad, I am authorized to place you both under arrest and transport you to a designated resettlement
Facility? Oh, really? You and what army?
Once again, humans facing Shrek are terrified. Umberto Eco's Fascism, or eternal or universal fascism, lays out 14 common features found in fascist governments. One key aspect is fear of difference. The fairy tales told throughout the land serve as fake news, perpetuating fear of the creatures different than the humans.
What?
Back at the swamp, the fairy tale creatures have made themselves at home.
Oh gosh, no one invited us.
What?
We were forced to come here.
By who?
Lord Farquaad. He huffed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice.
All right.
Finally, we are introduced to Farquaad. This dramatic entrance, featuring close-ups from under shoe and under chin, make him seem, if only for a moment, larger than life.
Ahem!
You're a monster.
I'm not the monster here, you are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me.
I've tried to be fair to you creatures. Now my patience has reached its end. Tell me, or I'll...
No, not the buttons. Not my gumdrop buttons.
All right then, who's hiding them?
For a king who banished the fairy tale creatures, Farquaad seems awful concerned of the whereabouts of the people he sent away in the first place. By now, a second element of fascism becomes apparent in Farquaad's obsession with plot. His obsession with having the perfect kingdom.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, is this not the most perfect kingdom of them all?
Well, technically, you're not a king.
Thelonious, you were saying?
At the mirror's mention of Farquaad not technically being a king until he marries a princess, on Farquaad's command, Thelonious threateningly demolishes a handheld mirror. This exhibits a third element of fascism. Disagreement is treason. When Shrek and Donkey arrive at Duloc Palace, the aesthetics are gray and neutral. Germanic-style housing lines the suburban interior of the castle. Farquaad's brand, a script F, and his face are everywhere. Perhaps the most unnerving piece of propaganda in the film is the info booth. Don't make waves, stay in line. That is the message propagated to the citizens of Duloc. While rewatching this movie through a critical lens, it became apparent to me that there were more stages of genocide depicted in the film than there were elements of fascism. The seventh stage of genocide, which is preparation, is seen within the early decrees of eviction, rewards offered for the capture of fairy tale creatures, and less clearly, the promise made to Shrek in exchange for procuring the princess. Okay, so we know Farquaad has banished the fairy tale creatures, but yet he continues to look for them. While this is another fascist common feature, action for action's sake, I believe simply relocating the fairy tale creatures wasn't enough for Farquaad.
All right, Ogre, I'll make you a deal. Go on this quest for me, and I'll give you your swamp back.
Exactly the way it was.
Down to the last slime-covered toadstool.
And the squatters?
As good as gone.
To me, this confirms the impending genocide. The 8th stage of genocide, before actual extermination and denial, is persecution. The overall treatment of the fairy tale creatures throughout the entirety of the film depicts persecution. While these injustices are wrapped in comical or even silly packages, it's important to recognize how terribly the fairy tale creatures are being treated. The two main messages of the film are both classic lessons to resisting fascism. The first, a man is not an island. The second message taught by the film is don't judge someone based on their appearance.